Welcome one and all to a deck profile video. Here we have the Des frogs, and Des spelt with like this with the three because it has D.3.S frog, but it's just like Des frog. You have to pronounce it whatever. Um, this deck request I don't recall when it was made, but it probably was made like about a month ago. And sorry to Anthony Pacheco who made the request that I'm only doing it now. I kind of forgot about it. I only recently was going through my book, no, my exercise book, in which I write all of my deck requests, and I noticed that there was one deck profile, which I also write in the same thing. I noticed there was one deck profile that it wasn't checked yet, so I checked my videos, checked my list, and on my computer, and I indeed hadn't done this yet, so I'm sorry about that. So here is the deck profile for Death Frogs. It's previous format, but it's not illegal for the current format, so no issues there. I guess I'll save it so I can use it in rated, or well, not outside of unlimited anyway. So we are going into this. This deck was originally used in Duel 141, so that was indeed a little while ago. So let's go into the deck profile. We have 3 swap frogs. If you're running frogs, swap frog is just good because it can dump frogs in the grave for combos and stuffies, and it can keep summoning itself and have fun effects. Dupe frog, nice defense, and you can add a frog, and it's a searcher. Would it be destroyed by battle? That's kind of slow, so you don't really use that search effect too often, but it does happen sometimes. Flip flop frog, because it's a funny name, and you can return monsters to the hand. Treeborn frog for a free summon. It's usually the tribute fodder you'd use for like Feng Wang. 3 Death frog. It's like you tribute summon it. It's not very strong, but then you can special summon Death frog from your hand or deck, doesn't matter where. Up to the number of tadpoles in the grave. So I have 2 tadpoles to go for up to 3 Death frogs at once. If you tribute summon one, you can possibly summon the other 2. Now I do have Death frog in here, but there's some tricks about summoning him, which I'll get to later. Tadpole, so really it's there to help with Death frog, but only also when it's a sort of a battle and sent to the grave, you can add any tadpoles from deck to hand, which would be the other one. Ronin Toadin, it's not a frog, but it does help. It does help with frogs because you can remove from play a frog from the grave and then special summon it, which helps you very much with getting in rank 2 Xyzes. Fishwork Planter. I hadn't actually heard of this deck before until I started looking at like fish and water level 2s in general. I got around to Fishwork Planter and I thought, no, let's try it out. So I have 1 or 2. I think it's a nice card for this deck. Its effect reads: once while this card is in the graveyard, you can send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. Then, if it is a water monster, special summon this card. A yawn. Special summon this card from the graveyard. You can only use the effect of Fishborg Planter once per turn. So it can get you an extra summon. It doesn't require you to banish a frog like Ronin Totem. It just Fishborg Planter needs to be in the grave. And most of my monsters are water. 20 of my monsters in total are water. You need at least 1 Fishborg Planter in grave, so therefore 19 remaining, which some will be on field or in hand. So you have about a 50% chance to get a water, so decent chance to get a summon. The unfortunate thing is, if you don't get it, you don't get the summon. That's just how it is. With Ronin Totem, you're at least certain you get the summon. 2 Destiny Hero Diamond Dudes, because I run quite a few spells and I like him. Diamond Dude works well with like Ojama, Delta Hurricane, to destroy all cards on the opponent's side of you. You could, I guess, use Burst Stream of Destruction, but Burst Stream of Destruction only destroys monsters. Death Croaking, it does the exact same thing as Ojama, Delta Hurricane, and this is in Frog, so why not? And I'm pretty sure there's 1 more card that does that. Oh, even 2. There's Elemental Burst, but that's not a spell. And then there's Megaton Magical Cannon. But yeah, Delta Hurricane, Death Croaking, the 2 most well known. Delta Hurricane mostly, because if I see people talking about Mass Destruction with Diamond Dude, I see them talking Delta Hurricane, but I use Death Croaking because it does the exact same thing, it just has a different activation requirement, which can be dodged by Diamond Dude. So if you get Diamond Dude into Death Croaking, then that's great. 1 Feng Wang, because I do believe I made this deck just before it was revealed that Heavy Storm was going to go, along with a lot of other stuff. So I was like, Heavy Storm replacements, and I came across quite a few, and I actually have No, I don't have them here, but there's another deck in which the side deck is pretty much just all heavy storm replacements, so I can keep track of that. I decided with Feng Wang because you get pretty easy tribute fodder like Treeborn Frog in the standby phase, Ronin Totem from the grave, Fishbowl Planter possibly, Swap Frog for special summon. So getting a tribute fodder isn't that difficult. This is the only tribute summon monster that was there. And it's a spirit monster, so at the end phase it will return to your hand. But when it's normal summoned or flipped face up, you yawn. You destroy all set spell and trap cards the opponent controls. It doesn't go for face up, but usually cards are set unless you're playing against Fire Fists or Mujins, or I guess Fire Kings, which use the Fire Formation spells and traps. But that's like the only ones that Feng Wang doesn't really work against. And then one alias, I could go for a third Diamond Dude because all I need for it is a hero, but I felt like getting a beater, and alias is, well, the best one for that, I feel. Then I have two Surface, so take a level 3 Fish, Sea Serpent, or Aqua from the grave and special summon it. Salvage to get two of them back to my hand, so Swap Frog for that. Yes, I can keep special summoning. Death Croaking to work with Diamond Dude, but not just with Diamond Dude, because you need, if you have 3 face of Death Frogs, you destroy all cards. I have the ability to have 3 Death Frogs. Even more, but I'll get to that in a second when I get to this guy. 3 Polymerization to make Death Frog and Absolute Zero. And what I like about Absolute Zero, as opposed to the other elemental heroes, elemental hero fusions, I'm just gonna take some of them because there's a load of them. Let's see if I can find them. This one requires an elemental hero and a dark. Great Tornado, elemental hero and wind. Gaia, elemental hero and earth. Absolute Zero, just hero and water. So yeah, that's the advantage Absolute Zero has. It doesn't need to be an elemental hero. It can also be a destiny hero, for example. So Absolute Zero can be made with that and that, plus any of these 20 waters. Then 2 Moray of Greed to maybe get rid of some dead draws, get some new draws in. Wetlands to power up my cards, because really, most of them are Aqua. Swap Frog is Aqua, Dupe Frog is Aqua, Flip Frog is Aqua, Freeburn Frog is Aqua. This one's Aqua, which is, by the way, also a tribute summon monster, not just Feng Wang. But it's not level 2 or below. Tadpole's Aqua, Ronin Totem's Aqua, Fishbowl Planter is Fish, so that one doesn't work. So, almost 20 cards there. 15 that work with it. Gain a nice 1200 attack. We have Malevolent Catastrophe as another heavy storm replacement, because spell and trap destruction is still very helpful. And it pretty much has the same activation requirement as Mirror Force, but instead of destroying attack position monsters, it destroys all spells and traps. So this is just, your opponent attacks, I play a trap card Heavy Storm. That's pretty much what it is. And then 2 Mirror Force. Originally I had Froggy Force Field there, but really, Mirror Force is better because Froggy Force Field is exactly Mirror Force, but with an extra activation requirement. So if you can run Mirror Force and you don't intend to run more than is allowed with Mirror Force, then just use Mirror Force instead of Froggy Force Field. Alright, now to the extra deck. Death Frog requires Death Frog, Death Frog, and Death Frog. Normally, when this card was created, you need 3 of these. However, Dupe Frog, it's treated as Death Frog while face up on the field. And the same goes for Ronin Totem. So in reality, I have 8 Death Frogs. Now, when like Dupe Frog or Ronin Totem is summoned, I can't summon extra Death Frogs. That's only with the actual legit Death Frog that's printed on the card. However, I'm able to use Polymerization on a Dupe Frog and 2 Ronin Totems as long as they're on the field, and therefore count as Death Frog. And then summon this guy. I am able to take 1 Death Frog and 2 Dupe Frogs while they're face up on the field to use Death Croaking, because I do control 3 face up Death Frogs. That, with the effects of Ronin Totem and Dupe Frog, I'm able to make better use of Death Croaking and make Death Frog easier to summon. Now, Death Frog isn't the strongest fusion monster out there, but I still wanted to have it because it's just fun. It can only be conducted with the above fusion material monster, so you cannot actually use fusion substitutes like King of the Swamp. And the attack of it is increased with 500 points for every Treeborn Frog in grave. Now, it's at 2500, max 4000 with the 3 Treeborn Frogs in grave. It's not the best fusion out there, but it's just a fun one to use, and I felt like using it. So there it is. And then Absolute Zero, I suppose, is the best monster on the deck because it's nice at 2500. For every face of water on the field except Absolute Zero, it gains 500 attack, and I have quite a few waters, so you quite often get a nice attack boost. And when it leaves the field, all monsters the opponent controls are done. So would you have Absolute Zero on the field and have in your hand or on your field Diamond Dude, Alias, or any water monster? You can just use polymerization, fuse it with Absolute Zero, because Absolute Zero is both a hero and a water, so it can be both the hero and the water. If you're using it as hero, you can use any of the waters. If you're using it as the water, then you can just use Alias or Diamond Dude to be the hero. You can fuse in it, summon the new Absolute Zero, and because it's mandatory, the original Absolute Zero, his effect won't miss timing, it'll destroy all the monsters the opponent controls, and you'll have a new Absolute Zero to play with. That's very helpful. I have one Slacker Magician as rank 1. I may change that, I guess, for one of the other rank 1s, because there have been a couple of rank 1s that are kind of good. Maybe Utopia Roots, but really Utopia Roots, meh. Could go Kane's Doom, Abel's Doom, but really that's only if you're running rank 1 decks and they're working together. And then Lionheart, maybe. I haven't actually used Dullahan at all. I haven't actually looked at what it does. But when I build the deck, I have Slacker Magician. Armored Cop as a rank 2, 3 Gotchis, 2 Heralds, 2 Phoenix, an Elf, and a Dark Mist, because that's really all that we had at the time. Right now we have Judge Buster, but I don't run Dark, so that doesn't work. And I don't run Beast, so Sandayu doesn't work either. So this is the deck that I'm going with right now. Cards I've considered sort of another Tadpole to make summoning of Deathstroke easier, and you can add another one to your hand. Would one be destroyed? Another Wetlands to yawn to power stuff up. Another Alias for a beater. Malevolent Catastrophe for extra spell and trap destruction, because really you only have Mirror Force and Catastrophe as your set cards, so you don't have to be too afraid for your own. Another Feng Huang, which is possible, and Froggy Force Field, would you feel the 2 Mirror Force isn't enough to destroy monsters. You can also use like Dimensional Prison, Compulse, any of those traps, whatever you want really. So this has been the deck profile for Death Frogs with the 3. I hope you enjoyed it, Anthony Pacheco. I am sorry that this was kind of late, but I hope you still enjoyed it. You can be trying it out and letting me know what you think of the deck, and if you have any improvements, possibly. Although I don't really intend to use this deck too much more. But if you have any suggestions on how to improve it, let me know, and I'll change stuff around in case I'll use it again. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next video, and once again, Happy New Year. See you later.